What up, sports fans? Waxon Wednesday, Jake Waxman I'll let two guys talk sports. Let's do this. Alright, another European Football Championships come and gone, and the second straight one in which the English football team just comes up one win short of winning the Euros. And that's been the case with this particular England team for not just the Euros, but World Cup and other competitions, just coming up short of the ultimate prize. I had a lot of concerns for Team England going into the knockout rounds. I thought they were going to get knocked out early. I thought they weren't going to make the finals. I thought that Dutch team would be the better team, but that was not the case. England was able to score within a few minutes left of the match between them and the Netherlands to win. But they were just, and you know what? You could say this now. That game against Italy in the previous European Football Championships, that game was kind of a wild card. That was one that could have gone either way, and England just fell short. And then this one, they were just outmatched and outclassed by a more talented Spanish team, and one with a lot more scoring depth. So, going forward, so where does England go from here? What do they do? If you ask me, got to change up some things. If you're Gareth Southgate, like, presuming, of course, he stays on, because I'm not sure whether or not he's really the problem or not. I mean, he's a good coach, but there's plenty of criticism on him, including the fact that he doesn't really use his substitutions until much later in the game. So if he stays on, he's got to really do a better assessment of guys you can recruit out of England to make a stronger Team England and a deeper one. Like, okay, Harry Kane, great player, but he needs more help around him. All right. Need more guys who can score in critical moments. And defense, of course. Now, England played great defense for most of the Euros until that one moment where the defender got lost on a certain play and Spain scored off of that, or capitalized, as you can say. That really puts a lot of emphasis on changes that England needs to make. Perhaps maybe you need a new manager, or even if the club doesn't feel like, all right, we need to fire Southgate, just plenty of changes all around. If you're going to win a World Cup or a European Football Championship or a major tournament, if you don't want to come up short again, especially in the World Cup in 2026, which will be in North America, plenty of changes for Team England to make going forward, much like the U.S. Although, competitive team, they got a great team. England has a fantastic team, but if they're going to win, but until some major changes are made within the strategy and the lineups, all that stuff, maybe even with the coaching, this English soccer team is going to continue to fall short of their ultimate goals. So that's just my thoughts on Team England just falling short of the European Football Championship. And congrats to Spain. They deserve it. They worked hard to earn it. Best team in the tournament, without a doubt. They proved that against France. I kind of figured whoever wins between France and Spain is going to win the European Football Championship. Fourth one for Spain, by the way. All right. We got the TBT starting this week. So I'm going to start my TBT. So two teams I'm going to cover in the TBT. First one, Mackey. That's the Purdue alumni team. So big question So this TBT, okay, the 2024 TBT. This will be the fifth one for the Mackey, if I'm correct. And there has never been a better time for the Mackey to have a breakthrough. All right, they need to have a breakthrough. Their all-time TBT record, 4-4. So in each of the tournaments that they've been in, they've played 2 games, 2 and done pretty much. They win the first game, and then they've gotten eliminated in the second game. And there's been some concern for the Mackey. There's been some concern about interest from the fans, like Purdue basketball fans, best in the country, no question about it. But when it comes to supporting the alumni, the Mackey or the Purdue alumni team for the basketball tournament, I'm not going to lie. There's been some trouble there. And there's been plenty of skepticism and criticism. A lot of Purdue fans not really watching the Mackey or the TBT. I mean, maybe it's the TBT or a couple other things, or they could just... But for one of the things I've heard, one of the reasons considered for why Purdue fans really aren't paying attention too much or watching the Mackey is because the Mackey can't get enough of their own alumni to play in the basketball tournament, as it's known as, or TBT for short. But the Mackey have struggled to really get their own alumni or players to buy into this tournament. So And just to give you an idea, now they got quite a few new faces who are Purdue alumni. We got Sasha Stefanovic and Eric Hunter, who, if I'm correct, yep, Eric Hunter and Sasha Stefanovic will be playing. Jonathan Octis, he'll be back. David Jenkins as well. So that's about 5 guys on this Purdue TBT team that are, and Kelsey Barlow, critical scorer. So that's the critical piece for the men of Mackey. So that's about 6 guys that I count that are alumni. The rest, to say the least, unfortunately, are now not unfortunately, but the rest of the guys are guys who played at other colleges like UNLV or UCF, guys, and then Bobby Planudis, who played at Purdue Fort Wayne. So Purdue, remember Purdue Fort Wayne, not Purdue, the main campus of Purdue, but Purdue's Fort Wayne campus. So just to name a few guys, and then you got Malik Osborne, who played for Florida State. So that's what I'm trying to point out here. One of the reasons that fans are skeptical to support the men of Mackey is because it's not, because every year that the men of Mackey have been in the TBT, it hasn't been entirely a team comprised of Purdue alumni. But hey, gotta support. But me being a Purdue fan, I gotta support the guys, even the guys who didn't necessarily play Purdue but are playing for the men of Mackey. I support those guys. But even fans like myself, I could do a lot better supporting this team. So, the fans can do whatever they want. It's up to them. But here's the thing: if this Purdue TBT team is going to turn the heads of the, sorry about the sputtering, but if the men of Mackey team or the Purdue TBT team, if they want to get more fan support going forward and get more players to get into this or to buy into the TBT, gotta have a deeper run this year. Gotta go beyond 2 games. All right, need a deeper run. Let's try to come out of this region, and that might inspire others to join in the fun, and that might even get the fans more involved and more supportive and that stuff. So this is a critical tournament for these reasons. This is a critical TBT tournament for the men of Mackey. You gotta get beyond the second round, or we'll see where things go for the men of Mackey if they aren't able to make it out of the second round this year. They got some returning pieces like I mentioned, Kelsey Barlow and David Jenkins Jr. So 6 of the guys are on the team. 6 of the guys are on the team. They're alumni. So hopefully those guys, hopefully they can ball out and propel this team to a deeper run. That's what they need to get fan interest up and more of Purdue's alumni players in on the men of Mackey. I mean, they got a great support system in the Tyler Trent Foundation, too, because TBT, this is the prize is $1 million, which goes to the charity of the winning team's choice, which, from what I understand, would go to the Tyler Trent Foundation. So, that much I do know, but critical tournament for the men of Mackey. Got it. You know what? And it's critical from the point of if you really want to get the fans interested and get more players interested in playing for the men of Mackey, you gotta have a deeper run. And considering this was 2024 was the year that Purdue finally made the Final Four, maybe the men of Mackey will make that deep run. It's not going to be easy considering that they're going to play a Fort Wayne team, and then if they make it past that round, they could have a potential matchup with Indiana's TBT team, or Assembly Ball as they're called. And they've got a lot of their own players, so that'd be a difficult matchup for Purdue. So this is just some of my thoughts right now on the men of Mackey and This is pretty much, you could say a preview. Got a lot of players in scoring depth returning for the men of Mackey, but now the question is, do they have enough to make a deeper run, and can they make that deeper run and get more people interested in the men of Mackey? We will find out. And speaking now of the TBT, so I'm going to also talk about a new team making its debut in this year's TBT. Now, this is going to be in what is called the Butler region. So these two, the men of Mackey are in this region, as well as All Good Dogs. This is the Butler TBT team making their debut. And they got a lot of good players making their debut. So, the Butler TBT, or All Good Dogs, as they're called, they got a lot of their guys coming back. To name a few, they got... Okay, sorry guys, I know I'm sputtering a lot, but this is the debut tournament for All Good Dogs, and they got a lot of Butler alumni joining in. You got guys like Keelan Martin and Paul Jorgensen. And to name a few. So I'm gonna look this up really quickly. So this is critical. They got a lot, and you know what? Props, regardless of the names that I just mentioned. Props to the All Good Dogs or the Butler TBT team. They actually got a lot of their guys to join. They got a lot of their guys to buy in. That's what I'm hoping. That's every year. That is what I've been hoping for Mora for the Mackey, and the Mackey have just not been able to do that, unfortunately. So here's some of the names. So we got Roosevelt Jones. That's assistant coach. Paul Jorgensen. I mentioned him. Paul Jorgensen. Bo Hodges, who played for this team not too long ago. That's another big name. Sean McDermott, I mentioned that. Shelvin Mack, point guard. Ty Gross, who also played for Butler. So they got a lot of their own alumni to play for this team. So this is gonna be. I'm really intrigued to see how this Butler team does. You know, if they can win if they can pull a Mackey and win a game in their first TBD tournament, hey, successful run already. You win a game in your first tournament, that's a successful run. You can build off of that for the future. So I'm really excited to see what the All Good Dogs do in this tournament and how they perform. It's good. I think they'll be a lot of fun to watch, especially considering they got a lot of their own alumni ready to play for this team. So, and hey, who knows? Maybe it'll be All Good Dogs and Mackey in the final for the Butler Regional. That'd be a lot of fun to watch. So, just my thoughts on both the Mackey and the All Good Dogs, the two TBT teams that I'll be keeping my eye on. All right, and on to this day in sports history, and on this day, the 17th of July, 1976, the games of the 21st Olympiad in Montreal. 25 African teams, later rising to 33 nations, boycott the games due to New Zealand playing rugby in apartheid South Africa. Not exactly sure what that was all about, but I'm going to do some more research into that because that intrigues me a bit. Interesting reason to withdraw from the Olympic Games. Alright, sports fans, that's all I got for this week's Waxon Wednesday. Thank you so much for watching, and me and Tyler are grateful for the support. Jake Waxman from Two Guys Talk Sports wishing you all a good night.